Today we're going to go over a very interesting and creepy cryptid, or entity in this case. The native tribes that once lived in what is now upstate New York tell stories passed down for many generations about flying human heads that would eat anything that crossed their path. And if that wasn't scary enough, these heads were about 4 times the size of a human. They were massive. It is said that these heads had long black flowing hair with wings that grew out of their cheekbones. And according to the stories, they would just appear out of nowhere, attack whatever they could, then disappear just as fast. It's as if they could phase in and out of our reality at will. One of the earliest encounters, according to the Iroquois nation, happened to a tribe whose name has been lost to time. And the Iroquois claim that they know the exact location of where this sighting happened, which is on a hill in New York, right behind where the Hamilton government building sits today. And many believe that this area is cursed. Now, this ancient tribe used to love hunting in this area, as animals would frequent a nearby lake, so this tribe would from time to time have an easy meal. But one day, something so terrifying happened to them that they left and never came back. According to legend, one day this tribe was just going about their daily activities when these massive flying heads just appeared out of nowhere and started to attack them. This tribe, scared to death, ran in all directions and hoped that they weren't the ones being followed by these massive man-eating heads. Now, after this supernatural attack, these people were just so terrified by what they just witnessed that they packed up all their stuff and never returned. And from this day on, all the different tribes in this area stayed clear of this land. It was now believed by everyone to be cursed, and it remained this way for many, many years. No tribe would set foot in this area. It wasn't until the Europeans came that this land was once again settled. But where this attack was believed to have happened, it is said that 3 hotels mysteriously burned to the ground, making some of the new locals also believed that this land is cursed. Now, the Iroquois also have a legend on how this all started. This legend states that in this area, there was once a very bad winter. There were no plants to eat, all the animals left, and the fish were just not biting. So the young men of this tribe wanted to leave. They believed that it might be better if they went somewhere else. But the elders, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to leave their home just because of a bad winter. They also knew that if the winter was bad here, it would be bad everywhere. Plus, the other tribes in this area could turn hostile if they saw them walking on their land, especially if they too were starving. Now, the young warriors respected the wisdom of their elders. They did make a lot of sense. But as time passed, things were just getting worse and worse, and these young men were getting angry. They wanted to try something. So they kept trying to convince the elders that they had to leave. But then the elders told them that they were being punished by what they called the Masters of Life. They now believed they had no choice. They had to stay and face their punishment. If they left, this punishment would just follow them. And once the winter had passed, their punishment would finally be done. So the elders told them that there was nothing they could do. And if they were going to die, they wanted to die here on their land, the land where they grew up and where their ancestors had lived for many generations. Now, this statement only made the young men angrier. They didn't believe that they should be punished by the Masters of Life. They didn't do anything. And it made them wonder, what did their elders do to deserve this kind of punishment? Now, as this winter persisted, the young men now felt that it was their duty to save their people. They couldn't just stand by any longer and watch their children suffer. So they decided that they were going to kill their elders. And they did. One day, in a fit of rage, they killed them all. Then they gathered all the bodies together and argued over what to do with them. And they decided to cut the heads off, burn the bodies, tie the heads together, and then bury them at the bottom of the lake as an offering to the Masters of Life. And right after they buried the heads, the water in the lake started to bubble. Then slime started to rise to the top. Then a massive head with wings came right out the water. And these young braves were frozen. They were terrified. One legend states that this flying head killed them all. Another says that this head haunted them for the rest of their lives. And from this day on, any other native tribe that lived on this land would from time to time encounter these massive flying heads. One famous Native American encounter happened when a man saw one of these man-eating flying heads flying above the trees on its way to his village. So, scared for his people, he yelled and told everyone that there was a massive flying head coming their way. And these villagers, scared to death, ran away from this village as fast as they could. But one woman who heard the message couldn't leave. She was at home with her baby. So she came up with a plan to get rid of this monster. This terrified woman went to her kitchen, sat down, and heated up some stones that were used for cooking. And just a few minutes later, this massive head was right outside her door. But this woman pretended to not notice it as it stood there hungry with its mouth open, showing its razor-sharp teeth. And as this monster was looking at this woman, it saw her pick up one of these blazing hot stones with a forked stick, and she pretended to eat it. And after every bite, she said out loud how good these stones were. And this creature just stood there staring at her, getting hungrier and hungrier. And instead of eating the woman, it wanted to try what she was eating. So it leaned its massive head over these hot stones and took a big bite. Then it paused for a second, then screamed out in pain, and it looked at this woman confused. But then it believed that this woman must have powers, and that she was a witch. So now, this massive head was scared for its life, and it flew away still screaming in pain. And according to legend, it never came back to this village again. Now there are many variations of this story, as this legend has been passed down for centuries. And just as we have werewolves today, the natives had stories of flying man-eating heads, as well as many others. And we do have a documented statement from a Native American from way back in the late 1600s. In 1668, one native stated, "The great God hath sent us signs in the sky. We have heard uncommon noises in the heavens, and have seen heads fall down upon earth." Now to this day, I don't think any non-natives have ever claimed to see one of these massive flying heads. Paranormal researchers believe that these heads only attack certain Native American bloodlines, as they are seeking revenge. And there are other cases of people being attacked by flying heads from other parts of the world, which I will cover in a future video. Now if I was alone in the woods, I think I'd rather come face to face with a werewolf or any other cryptid than a massive flying head. This might be one of the creepiest cryptids that I've ever covered. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned.